Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, Part 17. We're now going to the first level. I like to think this is the first level in the Winter Tundra, because this is usually the first level I play when I play Winter Tundra, and it's located closest to the start of the home world, so naturally it would be the first world you would go to, the Winter Tundra. Oddly enough, it's Mystic Marsh is what this level is called. It looks like it could be set in the month of March, where it's the early days of spring, and most of the snow is melted. That's what this level looks like. But again, there is no world in this game that focuses on the season of spring. Whereas this one's for summer, autumn, and winter. They forgot spring. I guess something against spring or something like that. I really don't like the fact that spring and autumn were both equinox months of the year, or something like that. This guy said that things just aren't the same as the world. You know, this is the same stuff we've been hearing ever since the first level of the game, or so something's happened, something's gone wrong, and this time around, it's a fountain that's been shut off. You have to investigate why a fountain just mysteriously was shut off out of the blue all of a sudden. Yeah, and of course, the only person that's smart enough to figure out what went wrong is Spyro. Who else are we gonna get to solve this? Inspector Gadget? Inspector Jacques Luzeau? No, we're gonna get Spyro to solve it. Spyro knows how to solve anything. Eventually, Spyro's just gonna become the one thing in this universe that can fix or repair anything. Hey Spyro, my car broke down. Can you fix it for me? Hey Spyro, can you clean my garage? Hey Spyro, could you do my income tax for me or something like that? Can Spyro even do income tax? I'm sure he could use his mouth to pick up a pencil and write and draw with it. Apparently Insomniac didn't want to make any more Spyro stuff after the third game because Spyro can't hold a gun. So that's where they got Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank to become their new character, their new flagship franchise. After Spyro, there's these things that are like puffer fish. They're like platypus mixed with, they're like a platypus mixed with some sort of puffer fish, some sort of mutant hybrid creature. We have some ducks here. Ducks like to hang out near them. They didn't make them enemies. If they were to be more realistic, they probably would have made them enemies in this game, because ducks are enemies in real life, so it makes sense they would make them enemies in this game. But since when did, most enemies in this game? But then again, what are these supposed to be anyways? Like elephants around? Where do what kind of I don't know, it's somewhere in Avalar, so I don't think it's supposed to be somewhere that exists in real life. Of course not. Spyro, it's not supposed to exist in real life. Of course not. Spyro never did really follow anything of real life anyways. There's a lot of like frogs, not surprisingly, because frogs live in marshy levels. I would like to think World 3-2 from Jumping Flash 2 would have been set or in a place somewhere around here. So Jumping Flash 2 is set on planet Little Moo, which is a mythical, mysterious planet, kind of like what I imagine Avalar would be like. This place kind of does look a lot like Mystic. Well, this level does look a lot like World 3-2 and Jumping Flash 2. Even plays music that sounds slightly alike. Like, it sounds very melodic and like kind of music that would fit like a spring scene perfectly. And yeah, there's a sense of mystery in the music as well too. Stuart Copeland still never ceases to amaze me. I wish Stuart Copeland still did music for games today. I don't know what he does actually, but I know he still does do game music. I have no idea. I don't really know much about what he does anymore. I don't know what any of these people do anymore really. The people that made Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. We just need one more spirit particle so we could activate that jump spring thing, so it could jump us up over to the other part of the level. Most of the level's inaccessible right now, unless you kill 20 enemies, which I'm almost there. I'm almost killed 20 enemies. This is where the game starts to really likes to stop toying with you and likes to start giving its most challenging puzzles and most challenging enemies. But of course, this game, I don't really find this game to be that challenging, probably because I've played this game and beat this game so many times. Some people say Jumping Flash is a challenging game, and some people say it's an easy game. I find it to be very easy. That's because I've played the game so many times and beat it so many times, it doesn't seem like anything anymore. I bet the same could be said for this if I played this game every single day. It's like, well, if this was all I ever did was to spend 3,000 plus hours playing Spyro 2, yeah, I probably would get to a point where I could speedrun this game. I tried speedrunning Jumping Flash a few days ago. I only got like a time of I think it took me like 12 minutes to get through the game on super mode. It took like 18 minutes for me to get through the game on hyper mode. That seems pretty fast, but I don't think that's like breaking any world records or anything like that. I think the world record for Jumping Flash is like 9 minutes and something. So of course I'm going to be doing like a big, item clean out here, like a whole item clean out. We're going to be cleaning out every single gem. No gem is going to be left. It's going to be left untouched by me. I'm going to go and collect every gem there is. I don't think there are any, like, hard to find gems in this level. So I actually did pretty well actually finding the gems in this level, I think. The gems aren't as stubborn as this level. I don't know, maybe they thought, ah, we gave you too many stubborn gems already. Let's just put them in easy to find places, so getting gems is more just like a minor inconvenience than anything else. Well, I find collecting gems to be, I really like that sound. It makes that sound that Sparks makes and goes, ding. I really like that sound. I first noticed it when I played the demo of this game way back in the day. I really love that sound. It sounds like a perfect text tone on your phone. Like if you're gonna play like I know new versions of Android don't let you add your own text tones on the phone, but older versions did. That make a perfect sound for like a chime, like a text chime, or maybe a notification chime or something like that. Jump, jump. Yeah, that's pretty good. I used to play that sound effect a lot when I would go walking around my high school and I would find coins on the floor. I used to find coins all the time in high school. I would go around. I actually made over $40 or so just finding loose coins everywhere. And then I took it all to a local pawn shop and I bought 6 N64 games and a PS2 game with all the money that I made from walking around my school. So I think that was actually pretty good. Actually, people make fun of me for doing it a lot. But yeah, the joke's on them because I'm the one that got to my games. So then they would say, yeah, but they're N64 games. That's the only system you're allowed to play on is N64. You're never going to have an Xbox 360, like implying that normal people play Xbox 360. Yeah, but Xbox 360 doesn't have Star Fox 64 or Tetrisphere or anything like that on it. So we're gonna find out who the culprit was behind all this. Oh, I just dozed off. I fell asleep on the job. Yeah, sleeping on the job. And now I made the fountain get switched off. So it's like, yeah. And now he's telling us not to tell that wizard we spoke to at the beginning of the level. Hi, George. That sounds like a planet or like a world from that game. What was it called? Grid Runner? I think there was a level in Grid Runner that had a similar name to that. Or maybe there was an enemy in that game, I don't remember. I think I would like to do a Let's Play of Grid Runner eventually. I think Grid Runner is an underrated classic of a game for the PS1 and Sega Saturn. Well, of course, I'm going to be doing the PS1 version. Whatever version am I going to do? The Saturn version? No, I'm not going to do the Saturn version of the game. I don't know. It might work on my Saturn emulator, but I haven't really emulated Saturn games that much, simply because the Saturn doesn't have a great library of games. It's a popular least favorite Sega system among a lot of Sega fans, and I know some people are going to disagree with me. I know there's this guy in my Discord server who's probably going to get pissed at me for saying that, oh, you're bashing the Saturn. And oh, look at this. Remember earlier when I said, hey, Spyro, could you fix my car for me? Guess what? That's what we're doing right now. We're going to be fixing someone's car. No joke, we have to fix someone's car. Of course, we're going to do the Spyro style, obviously, so we have to go and find these thieves that stole that guy's spark plugs. Why would thieves want spark plugs? Thieves that look like, I don't even know what those things are. They have like these web things that allow them to glide. And I'm not going to attempt for this one. Yeah, for some reason, these thieves want spark plugs. That's just like the most insane thing ever. It's kind of like the Atari Jaguar game, the Angry Video Game Nerd reviewed, where it's like, oh, you have to hit this thing, and then you get these things, and to get those, and once you get those things, you can use them for this, and you have to like smack so many penguins or something like that, and you collect all this stuff, and then you have to use it to buy like a shield or something like that, so you can shield yourself against the evil orcs that want to smash you. But at the same time, the evil orcs are also being controlled by some evil lion. I don't know. It's like a huge. It almost sounds like something that could have been like some sort of like. Almost sounds like. I don't even know what that sounds like anyways. It sounds like convoluted writing. Like maybe a bunch of writers contributed so many ideas at the same time, and they thought, we don't know which ones to go with. So let's go with all of them then. That's what it almost seems like. That's what this is starting to seem like, almost this Spyro 2. It's like the writers are running dry of ideas, so they just had to pick whatever they thought would be, the best thing to do. And the best thing to do is just take everything that was pitched to them, every idea that was drawn out to them, every idea because I'm pretty sure they own the arms of all the artists that worked for the design artists that worked for Insomniac Games. They probably own their arms. Like everything you draw is owned by us. Because if it originates in your mind, it's owned by us. We own your brain too. So if you come up with something, it's yours. That's what the corporate animation industry does. The corporate animation industry is getting worse and worse all the time. Animation is in a very dismal state in this day and age. I'm writing a book about it called Attack on Animation. But yeah, it is in a very dismal stage in this period in history. This is probably even be worse in the 80s, and the only way you could get a cartoon on TV was if it's based on a pre-existing property or like a show that's pretty much an advertisement for something. Like almost every show in the 80s was like that. It's just a simple, stupid advertisement for something. Plus some show that tells you to drink plenty of Ovaltine or whatever it's called. A commercial? All this for a crummy commercial? Yeah. The 80s was a bad decade. I don't really like the 80s that much. I don't really like the 80s in general. The only good things that came out of the 80s were arcade games, the Sega Genesis, and movies too. The second and third Star Wars movies, the Indiana Jones movies, Gremlins, Goonies, Back to the Future. Yeah, that stuff came out of the 80s, and yeah, the 80s were good for movies. But other than that, I don't really like the 80s that much. The 90s was so much better, I think. The 90s was where it was at. And same with the 2000s. Those are really good decades too. And even the 2010s had better stuff than the 80s a lot of the time too. Depending on, your definition of what's better. So I got all the gems. That was really no challenge at all to collect all 400 gems. And yes, I just got all the spark plugs. I recovered all the spark plugs for this guy.
Here, young dragon friend, take this.
He's gonna be saying like, oh, take this, it's museum quality. Oh, it's not he actually sounds like he said it's not museum quality, but you'll like it. But in the subtitles it says it is museum quality. I know if that was a mistake. Well, there, he gave me another orb. It's only 3 orbs. If you may have noticed from that wizard, he gave us an orb, not a talisman. There are no talismans left in the game. We've collected every single talisman in the game. So from now on, when we go to different levels now, we're getting orbs instead of talismans. So our orb count is going to increase by a substantial amount. Orbs are everywhere now. It's orbs galore. An orb fest. Orbs of the orbs. Orbs, orbs, orbs. Orb wars. Lord of the orbs.
Spyro.
And we're gonna run to the professor again. Now we're gonna go on another thing. This is like something that happened in an Ed and Eddie episode. I had to trade one thing for one thing, trade that thing for another thing, another thing, another thing, another thing, another thing. And eventually they get the ultimate goal. That's exactly what this is. We're gonna do. We have to trade one thing. And I think Mario 64 may have had something like this. We have to trade one thing for one thing. I know Zelda games do stuff like this a lot. It's actually quite normal with Zelda to just trade one thing for another thing. So we took the egg and we're gonna give it to, I think there's a bird's nest up there somewhere. We have to spring on this thing again. Boing! The spring thing and get sent flying up here where there's oh yeah, see right there, there's a bird's nest right there. We're gonna stand on this point. I thought this thing could head bash. This level makes absolutely no use of the head bash at all. Even though we now have the head bash, but bash which you could have. I mean, the bottom planes at some levels that made use of the head bash. I almost forgot the head bash existed at this point. I remember we bought that in the last video from Moneybags, the greedy scoundrel Moneybags, and Moneybags is nowhere to be found in this level. I guess this level is so bland and dull that even Moneybags didn't even want to be here. You can tell all the people in this level don't want to be here. They really wish they could be somewhere else. They're just working a stupid minimum wage job, doesn't really pay them much. And Moneybags knew this was not very profitable, so that's why he's not here. And the animation industry is not very profitable these days either. About just as profitable as being a typewriter repairman. Or a VCR repairman for that matter. That's why I'm considering other fields. I mean, animation is good, but I'm considering other fields of study that are more likely to be profitable, like being a book writer. Books are still just as popular as they've ever been. Or maybe getting a work in data analytics, data science. That sounds like a fun job to do. I did research on it too, and it seems like something that'd be pretty good to get a job being a data analyst. I'm sure Spyro would like to do a job like that. Maybe he does do a job like that. I sometimes wonder what happened to this version of Spyro. I know he was eventually retired around 2005 after the last game set in the original Spyro continuity was made. But I wonder what became of Spyro afterwards. Did he eventually grow up and become some wise old dragon like those dragons we saw in the first Spyro? Or did he actually get a job? Did he go on any more adventures? I have no idea. I sometimes wonder what happened to Robbit too. Well, actually, we kind of do know what happened to Robbit. We know that after Jumping Flash 2, he went off to Animu that's what he does in Jumping Flash 3. And he probably just went off there to do chores for people. And that's probably what he's still doing to this very day. He's just doing chores for people. He's just some yellow rabbit that does people's chores. I wish we had things like that in real life. But then again, we did have stuff like that in real life to make the job market even worse. He's why the job market is so bad these days, because now we have robots and AI that does everything for us. You wonder why people hate AI so much. AI is going to start a war someday, going to cause some kind of war, and we're all going to have to be forced to fight in this war and save our world from the evil forces of AI.
My
I think
pencil!
someone already wrote a book
How
about
I
that.
didn't
I think there's a
calculate the
movie
age
about
of the
that too,
universe
maybe, I don't
again.
know.
Here,
Or at least
take
there
this
isn't, there
orb.
will be.
Laura says she thinks I'm going to
We
lose
finally
it.
got the professor's pencil back so we can figure out how the universe came to be. I know how the universe came to be. Some crazy-minded insomniac conceived you and thought that you'd be a great character for this game, for this awesome game. And that's where your universe came from. The people at Insomniac Games. They're the ones that envisioned your universe. And I wonder who envisioned our universe. Some people theorize that maybe we are characters in some sort of movie that keeps getting too many sequels, or some TV show that went on the air that lasted way longer than intended. Got this level 100% complete now, just gems and orbs, that's all there is. And now we can still get an ending video, which is just a guy dozing off again, which is probably going to cause the fountain to malfunction yet again. And we got our pay of 400 gems, and we're probably going to have to give the money bags eventually. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.